Welcome to ITV Go, Chef Maneet Chauhan. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
It's great to have you with us because, we as a nation are going through a lot right now during the COVID-19 crisis, and the industry that you belong with, the food industry and the restaurant industry, is directly in the heart of this crisis. So, starting this interview, I have to ask you your comments on the impact COVID-19 has had on the food industry in its entirety, but especially on the livelihoods of restaurants. How have you looked at this entire situation?
Um, I think personally, for me, it was the different stages of grief. The fact that it happened so suddenly. We heard the chatter in the background, and we were very careful about how things were at the restaurants. We were cleaning. We were in touch with, our uh, like Autochlor, who provides all chemicals. They were giving us special chemicals to get rid of COVID, 19, all of that. But this decision kind of happened overnight. And initially, it was a state of shock because we kind of had to let go of our entire team, which is over 250 people. But right after that, my first instinct was to just make sure that everybody was taken care of, be it food, be it whatever people need, because the worst thing that can happen to anybody in the food industry is to be food insecure. So we connected with a lot of local, food vendors where a lot of perishables were getting wasted. So, we got stuff from them, set it up in our parking lot because we really didn't want too many people together. People from hospitality industry all across Nashville came up, picked up stuff, connected with the Nashville Food Project, dropped off a lot of food over there. I mean, we got around 550 cases of perishable fruits and vegetables delivered to us. We got in touch with One Gen Away, which is an organization that helps in, feeding students who would not get food because they're not going to school. So, children and hunger, again, something very close to our heart, something we try to solve. So, yeah, that was it. And then, and then after some time, we just started planning on how we are going to come back, how we're going to be stronger. The core team continued doing curbside. We were cooking for first responders, for hospital, people working in hospitals, doing whatever we can to make the community stronger and, more positive. On my end, I started doing these insane number of IGTV, etc., so that I could kind of spread a little bit of joy, happiness, and Indian food techniques for people who were deprived of that. And that's what it is.
In terms of discussing food insecurity, that's such a huge project for each state right now. We're talking about so much unemployment. Food insecurity is actually a direct result of it. What have been some of the challenges of the restaurants in helping with that? And also just the challenges with, again, going curbside, with reopening as such a big focus now. Where is the focus and the challenges?
I think the biggest focus and the challenge is that we need to make our immediate community stronger, right? I have reached that stage where I realize that a big problem like food insecurity cannot be solved by starting at the big level. It needs to be started at a micro level, right? What can I do in my community? Right? How can I spread that that positivity, a solution in my community, so that it goes ahead and starts growing? So I think that is what we are doing. I think the foundation level is very important. It's very important to solve the issue, in your immediate surroundings, and then it really starts radiating all around.
Definitely. Your comments on this statement that we read somewhere, restaurants have lost up to 3 decades of jobs in just 2 months. According to you, what is the method or perhaps the technique to survive COVID-19 right now? If you are a restaurant owner or if you are a bar owner, even you own certain places that work as both, what have you realized has helped?
Aditi, I wish I had a crystal ball that I could tell you that what the solution is. All of us in this industry, in this country, around the world, are still grappling with the fallout of COVID-19. All of us are trying our level best to make an informed decision, which is safe for our team, for our guests, and for ourselves. And everybody is coming up with unique ideas. I think with curbside, the basics, just to make sure that there is no contact, curbside delivery. The fact that simple things like the guidelines which are coming out, which we are following. Wearing the mask all the time, which, by the way, when you work in a hot kitchen, a mask it's so stifling, but you've got to do what you've got to do. The fact that there's constant hand washing, there are sanitizer stations all over, there are gloves on all the time. As people are coming in right now, each and every team member's temperature is being taken to make sure that nobody is sick. We are writing logs down. We are asking questions. Again, it's a work in progress. And I don't think that there is a correct answer for how to survive this. I think the only correct answer is to have the resilience to survive it. Not to get bogged down by it. Yes, I mean, in the scope of our entire lives, these few months it's just going to be a really short span. So everybody needs to look at the longevity of staying, of resilience, and just being smart about each and every step that they are taking.
What is the future of restaurants or food industry looking like? You belong to two very interesting aspects of the food industry. One is television, and the other one is the actual restaurant, ownerships of having various branches, not just one. Where do you see it going? Is it going to be limited people? Will it be limited staff? Will it be, the requirements of masks and gloves and the continuity of that?
I think everything which is happening right now is going to be very temporary, right? The solution is going to come up when there is a vaccine or when there is a cure, right? Nothing is going to be normal before that happens. That's something that all of us agree with. So whatever steps which are being taken, those steps are going to be very temporary. Be it every alternate tables, be it disposable china, be it everybody wearing masks. In the end of the day, we have to realize the reason people go to a restaurant is not only to eat, it is to socialize. That's why the restaurant is a heart of a community, of a society. It's not because of food. You can get food anywhere, right? But the fact is, the sense of belonging, that togetherness that you feel, that you can find in a restaurant, right? It's a social outing. So I think the future of the restaurant industry is going to come back to the fact that we are going to be together. It'll just take time. It'll just take time. And we'll have to. I mean, the fallout of COVID is it's so huge. The fact that there is going to be, economic constraints for people to come out. So our recovery is going to be very, very slow, but our recovery will be there. And I think that is something that everybody needs to keep in mind, that tomorrow is not going to be normal. Next year, yeah, we'll get on the track of being normal.
Looking at your business, and maybe this might be my last question in terms of our COVID impact before I go into your career that I really want to talk to you about. Where are your hopes lying in the next couple of weeks? Where you are located, the areas are reopening, so the restaurant services will increase. What are you foreseeing, and what are you focused on that?
Right now, I think our primary focus as a company has always been the safety of our team and the safety of our guests. That's paramount, right? That is something that we cannot compromise on. I mean, in Nashville, the restaurants have opened last week. We haven't. We're going to continue doing curbside for at least another 2 weeks. We need to get better data before we open up. And we've started figuring out ways on how we are going to mitigate the risk. which is, I mean, the risk is there. As soon as we open the door, the risk is there. So I think that's what we are working on right now, be it, coming up with menus which are, which are smaller, which are much more precise. The fact that each and every menu that we are going to give people is going to be disposable, or the fact that we're also having, I mean, this is where all amazing ideas come, right? You're coming up with an app that people can see and they can say. So there is a lot which is brewing under the calm surface, but we have to think 10 steps ahead. And up till now, what has happened with COVID is we all sit, we have a discussion, we figure out what route we are taking, what plan we are taking, and then all of us are driving home where there's a text which comes up where we realize that what we have decided is all scrapped and we have to get back to the drawing board and start from ground level again. So I think just to have the adaptability and the flexibility to change direction at the drop of the hat, I think that's which is very important.
This was such great perspective and also such positive energy for the restaurant industry. I want to wish you the best as you continue, making your way around restaurant industry so that the people can try your amazing food. Which reminds me, we have to discuss your amazing food journey while I have you here on ITV Gold. Chef Chauhan, you come from Punjab and you're really proud of your Punjabi heritage, and you've truly assimilated, that food and that cuisine into the American food industry. So I have to ask you, where is this passion for food driven from? And are you feeling very creative these days?
So simple. I mean, the passion of the food is derived from my passion of eating. I've always loved eating. I did grow up. I mean, I was born in Punjab, but I grew up in eastern India in a small town called Ranchi. My dad was an engineer, and the fun part about growing up in that town was that there were people from all over India. So I would have dinner at home. And then go to my neighbors' houses and tell them, Auntie, Mom and Dad haven't given me food to eat, so can I eat with you? But to me, the most fascinating part was I got a glimpse of the vastness of Indian cuisine by living in this really small town. And that is something which till date is really, really fascinates me. The creativity aspect of what I do has always been in the forefront of anything that I do, because the creativity fuels my passion. The creativity has been on an all-time high, be it because I am trying to connect with people, relate with people in terms of, like on my IGTV, telling people how to cook Indian sauces or how to demystify Indian food, because everybody's like, oh my God, Indian food, curries, it's so difficult. No, it isn't. You can make it at home. And then bread baking and how to get a little bit of, desi twist to whatever I'm doing. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I say this with so much humility. You are the face for Indian food in the US entirely, especially with your massive name attached to Food Network. When you look back at this journey, why was it so important for you to, celebrate your culture and have that food be represented, basically normalized in American food? You have a very unique take upon food and the way it's displayed. I want to know, why did you want to do it in that manner?
It was really interesting. When I started on my food journey, I always wanted to be a baking and a pastry chef. I never ever thought of doing Indian food because I had grown up surrounded by Indian food, and it was, uh, there's a Hindi saying that "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar." So to me, it really wasn't. It wasn't something which was special, right? I took it as an everyday thing. I took it as a very mundane thing. Till the time I came over here to America to go to the CIA, which, by the way, is the Culinary Institute of America. Before you think I'm anything more interesting than a chef. And over there, I was the only Indian on campus for the better part of 18 months. Wow. And in between, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, a lot of people had never had Indian food. Small town in upstate New York, Hyde Park. found the one Indian restaurant to go over there, and there was that 8.95 all you could eat buffet with so much oil on it. And I took a bite, and everybody's like, hmm. And I'm like, no, this is not Indian food, because what we grew up was 3 fresh cooked meals a day. Every Sunday, my dad and I, we would go to the Sabzi Mandi, which is the farmer's market over here, right? Carrots you could only get in December. So, I mean, everything that was a trend over here: farmers market, seasonal cooking, local farmers. We grew up with that,
Right.
right? And I think, to me, that's when the switch happened. When I realized how proud I was of where I was from. How proud I was of the diversity and the richness of Indian food, and I really wanted the world to know about it, and not be afraid about it. I mean, I would get offended when people would be like, "Oh, let's go and have some curry," and I'm like, "There's so much more to Indian food than curry." So I think that's how it started. The fact that I do say that my parents raised two really confident young ladies, my sister and me. Uh, we were very comfortable and proud with who we were, with our skin, with our heritage, and the fact that I flaunt it. The fact that I wear the biggest desi earrings, or each and every jacket has zardozi and silk, and this is who I am. I come from India, and I am proud of it, and I'm proud of where I am. And there is no reason to hide it. It's to celebrate it. So when there are other cultures which have so assimilated, or other food cultures, I mean, think about it. Sushi. You
Yeah.
can get sushi at a gas station. I wouldn't recommend you going and eating it from there, but you can get it over there, right? The
Right.
fact that it is so assimilated in mainstream America, why can't Indian food? And it's got such incredible flavor. So I'm hoping that I can be a voice of that. And now you see, a lot of young chefs who are passionate about it. So yeah, why not?
What were some of your proudest moments, in your food journey? And also, if I was to ask you how the food industry has reacted to you, especially on the television side, how would you say?
I am the kind of person who always sees the glass half full. So, so to me, I live under this amazing misconception, or in my own world, that everybody loves me, and I am fine with that. I'm happy with that. There are people at times who can be very mean on social media, and at times it affects me. At times I call them out, because I don't think that it's right, for you to make a judgment on how I look, or how I speak, based on what you see on television. But that being said, the food industry has been always very kind and very respective. Um, I believe that you know the world is like a boomerang, right? What you send out comes back to you. So if I send out kindness and respect, that's what I get back, and it's very simple as that. Um, it's been a very interesting journey. It's been really fun, and stressful, no questions about it. So yeah, I'm excited that I have the opportunity to be on television.
Being a judge comes with a lot of responsibility, and your name is basically now synonymous to judging food in the US, a variety of it, in a variety of shows you've done. Tell me how that experience has formed you as a person, and what kind of responsibility does it fall on a judge like you when you are judging all these big scale food shows?
I think one of the biggest things, people always tell me that, oh my God, it must be so easy to judge. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not easy to judge, because people look up to you for honest opinion. I have competed on all these shows. I've competed on Iron Chef. I've competed on Next Iron Chef. I've competed on Chopped. I've, competed on the Tournament of Champions. Like, you name it, and I love competing. I mean, there's a rush. that you get when you're competing. It also makes you very humble, because you realize that in these competition shows, there is an external environment other than you that also controls your end product, right? Be it the clock, be it the ingredients, that's what it is. So if it is as stressful for me, I always try to empathize how stressful it's going to be for, the chefs who are competing. So I think that the foundation of any feedback needs to be respect for the fact that they had the strength to come and compete, because a lot of people would not do that. And the fact that they did what they did in the allocated time in a kitchen, which is completely, unfamiliar to them. So to me, I think judging comes with a lot of responsibility, and you've got to be very fair and very clear about what you are telling people. So you've got to be very articulate about it.
Right. And you must have seen so much talent around you while you were judging, and just in general. What do you have to say about this whole industry of, new chefs, food bloggers, people that are really taking their identity and their cuisine seriously? What do you have to say about that talent and probably the scope for them?
I mean, it makes me so excited to see this new generation coming up, right? Um, the creativity is so high. When I started off, I mean, first of all, being a chef was, oh my God, not a doctor or an engineer, really. But the fact is, at that time also, it was very limited, the scope of careers that you could choose in the food industry. Either you could be at the front or you could be at the back, right? Mm. Now the world has just opened up. You can get into social media when it comes to food. You can get into food photography. You can get into food writing. You can get into R&D. Like, there is so much. And that is what makes me so excited, because the food world is becoming bigger. And it's becoming bigger because people are giving it the importance that it deserves. Mm. And that's what, it just gives me goosebumps.
You hinted on the fact of having an unconventional career. And since I have you on ITV Gold, and so many parents are watching this across the nation, what's an advice you can give them if their kid wants to, try an unconventional career, or perhaps if they want to explore food as a full-time career option?
I completely understand why parents, being a parent myself, I completely understand why parents want their kids to follow a particular path. The reason why they want to do that is because they've seen success in that path, right? All that a parent wants for their kid is for them to be well settled and to be happy, right? That's all that they want, right? So in the past, the reason why they would push them towards a career like a doctor or an engineer is because they saw success in it. Mm. I am hoping that by seeing me, or by seeing you, or seeing other people who have made it in an unconventional industry, inspires them to see that, yes, there is success in those industries too. So they have to be trailblazers who need to set that path. And then parents absolutely, will see that success is possible.
Chef Chauhan, there are so many South Asian Americans, I can say for a fact, that look up to you. They follow you on Instagram, on your social media pages. What are some tips you can give to these, new upcoming, chefs, upcoming bloggers? What should their focus be to, gain success just like you did?
I can tell you what not to do. I think the biggest thing is, I have a lot of young kids who come and tell me that they want to be a chef. Mm-hmm. And my first question is that, why? And a lot of them say, because we want to be on TV like you. And if anybody has that as an answer, I would strongly suggest that look at a different career. Because the chef side, the celebrity side, the glamour side that you see is probably 5% of my entire life. The entire 95% is actually working really, really hard to prove yourself, so that the television can come calling for you, so that you prove yourself that you're good enough to be a judge on a show, right? So keep in mind, this industry is not difficult, it's not easy, it's a very difficult industry, but you need to be passionate about it. I love it, I love the passion. Also keep in mind that this is a lifestyle, right? The days, I mean, especially if you're in the kitchen or in the restaurant industry, not as a blogger or, as a food writer, etc., but if you're in actively working in the restaurant industry, keep in mind that the days that all your friends are getting off, the weekends, those are your busiest days. Thanksgiving, Christmas, when family is getting together, you are probably working. So keep that in mind. And the only way you can sustain and have longevity in this career to succeed is to be at it, and realize that you love it. And of course, there will be days that will be completely, you'll be disillusioned by the industry, but that's fine. It's the passion that keeps you going.
Yeah, that passion is so important for any career. I have a few questions left for you here. The Culture Tree, an amazing nonprofit that the ITV Gold team is also working with, and you're also collaborating with them. I would love for you to highlight the event that is coming up, and also what have you seen, in the Culture Tree and its programs that's really attracted you?
With Culture Tree, it was really interesting. Anu, she reached out to me and on Instagram, and it's interesting. I get a lot of these requests, but when I started, reading through, I love the fact that what resonated with me was the fact that I'm really proud of where I am from. I'm really proud of the culture, and the fact that Culture Tree tries to inculcate that in the next generation. As a parent myself, I really want my kids to learn this, to appreciate it, and to be proud of where their parents are from. So I think that's what really inspired me to collaborate with them. The fact that they highlight all the different festivals, which in Southeast Asia, I mean, growing up in India, there was a festival almost every second week, right? Be it a small or be it a large festival. So yeah, when Anu told me about the Eid, collaboration that they're doing with a lot of libraries, etc., I'm like, that sounds like so much fun. And you celebrate the best part about each and every festival was the food.
Right.
So I'm glad that I could, collaborate in some way.
And what are you going to be doing with them exactly? I know you're making a food video, and it's basically a tutorial. If you could give us an insight into it.
Wait and see what I'm going to be up to. That's all that I can say.
Is your daughter a part of it?
I don't know. I still haven't done it. Knowing her, she probably will be.
Well, I hope we get to see her, that'd be absolutely amazing. I would also love to know, what are the ongoing projects that we can watch you on right now? I know some are playing currently as we are speaking. And what are some of the projects that you're looking forward to that would be perhaps released in the later part of this year?
So one of the biggest projects that I'm working on is my second book. It's called Chart. And it's being published by Clarkson Potter, and we are just putting the finishing touches on it. It's available for pre-sale on Amazon. That was my 2 seconds of shameless plug. But it's absolutely a beautiful book, which is very close to my heart. Because growing up in India, we would take trains. And each and every train stop in India, the local vendors would come to sell their food. So you got an insight about the cuisine of that state and that city through the food vendors. So I would always look forward. I'm like, oh, Chennai, I've got to have the curd rice, right? So this entire book, we went to India last year with our photographer, took some incredible photographs. Wow. The book is beautiful. It has so much of movement, organic movement. It's just a gorgeous book. So I'm very excited about that. And like Chaat, as you know, it's Indian street food, but it's also translated from Hindi. It means to lick. So all the dishes are very lickable in the book. a lot of the shows that are on Food Network right now, which like yesterday was both Supermarket Steakhouse and Stakeout and Chopped, new episodes, but they were already recorded a couple of months back before COVID. I was supposed to be in the thick of shooting for the next season, but all of that is at a standstill. The restaurant, that is priority right now, and spending time with family is priority. So yeah, all of that is going on.
It was so amazing having you here on ITV Gold. I'd love for you to give one last message out to our audience, but also to your fans and all your followers that love watching your videos, that love watching the interaction you have on social media, and your, daughter that we love seeing her. Just one last message.
I think the biggest message that I can give everybody is that please spread kindness and positivity. These days are difficult for all of us. And if we start becoming mean to each other, then we are not making for a better society. So the only thing I can do is request all of you, be kind, be kind.
And one last thing, food to you is?
Life.
That's a great one. Thank you for your time here.
Thank you.